All right, deep divers. Are you ready to dive into the world of Marcus Aurelius?
Always ready.
Okay, perfect.
Let's do it.
So we're going beyond the typical emperor stuff, right? Forget conquering lands and all that.
Right.
We're going to conquer our minds today with the help of his personal writings and philosophy.
Sounds good.
So you got to imagine this guy was ruling an empire during plagues and wars.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, talk about stress, right?
Good time.
But amidst all that chaos, he found the time to keep a private journal called Meditations.
Yeah, meditation.
Not for fame or glory or anything like that, just for himself.
It's incredible.
And guess what? It's packed with seriously relevant life advice that still resonates today.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how he was both an emperor and a philosopher.
Yeah, that's a pretty unique combo.
Yeah, his reign is actually considered the peak of what's called the Pax Romana. Basically a golden age of peace and stability for the Roman Empire.
Okay, Pax Romana.
Pax Romana, yeah. And the fact that he never intended Meditations to be published makes it even more intriguing.
Yeah.
It's like we get to peek into the very private thoughts of this leader, who was also a deep thinker.
So, philosopher, emperor. Okay, and when I hear Stoicism, I think, okay, stiff upper lip, just got to deal with it.
Right.
Not exactly inspiring.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Okay.
Stoicism is about more than just enduring hardship. It's about self-disciplined resilience and finding harmony with nature, using reason to navigate life's challenges.
Okay.
Think of it as a practical philosophy for living a good life no matter what life throws at you.
So less about suppressing emotions and more about mastering them. I can see how that would be helpful for, running an empire and all.
Exactly. It's understanding that you can't control external events, but you can control your reactions to them. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He's basically saying, focus your energy on what you can control. Your thoughts, actions, decisions.
Control the controllable.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit cliche, I'll admit, but does it actually hold up in real life? When you're facing actual problems?
Absolutely. Think about it. How often do you get stressed about things completely outside your control?
Oh, all the time, right.
Like traffic jams, delayed flights, other people's moods. It's like trying to control the weather.
Yeah.
Stoicism says, instead of wasting energy on those things, focus on what you can influence. Got a crazy work deadline? Focus on your strategy for getting it done. Relationship troubles. Concentrate on communicating clearly and honestly.
Okay, so it's about channeling your energy wisely. Pick your battles.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Marcus Aurelius was big on living in sync with nature, too. That seems a little out there for an emperor. Did he, ditch the palace for a hut in the woods or something?
Not quite. It's not about literally living in the wilderness.
Okay.
It's about using reason, playing your role in society to the best of your ability, and working for the common good. Think of it as understanding that we're all part of a larger interconnected system.
So doing your part, contributing to something bigger than yourself, but with reason, not just getting swept up in every emotion.
Exactly. Now, there's another side to Marcus Aurelius that I find really intriguing. He often talked about death.
Oh.
Not in a morbid way,
Okay.
but as a way to live better.
Yeah. He actually wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good."
Whoa. Kind of intense, but I get it. It's like a wake-up call, right?
Right. It's what's called memento mori. Basically remembering that we're all mortal. This isn't meant to be depressing. It's about appreciating the present moment and not wasting time.
Okay, so far Marcus Aurelius sounds less stoic emperor and more wise life coach. But let's be real. He was an emperor. He wasn't exactly dealing with everyday problems, was he?
True, but his challenges were immense. Wars, a devastating plague that ripped through the empire.
Wow.
He had his share of adversity, to say the least.
And yet he didn't just get by. He seemed to thrive.
Yeah.
How was Stoicism really enough to get him through all that? It was definitely a major factor. Stoics believe in turning obstacles upside down, seeing them as opportunities. There's this great quote from Marcus Aurelius. "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way."
Wait, so obstacles are good? I'm not sure I'm following this one. How does that work in real life?
Imagine you're hit with a major career setback. Maybe you get passed over for a promotion or a big project falls apart.
Ugh, I've been there.
It's easy to get discouraged, right?
Yeah.
But what if you use this as a chance to reevaluate your goals? Maybe it's a sign to explore a new career path or even start your own business. The obstacle in this case becomes the fuel for growth and change.
So instead of being stopped by the roadblock, you look for a detour that might lead to something even better. I like that.
Exactly. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Marcus Aurelius was also way ahead of his time in thinking about something we're still grappling with today. The idea that we're all interconnected.
Wait, hold on. Even emperors back then were thinking about being connected to everyone else.
Absolutely. He wrote, "We're all made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth." He saw humanity as a single organism with each person playing a vital part.
Wow, that's pretty deep, especially for someone living back then. But why should we care what an ancient Roman emperor thought? It's a cool history lesson, but is it really relevant to our lives today?
That's a great question, and one we'll dive into even further as we continue exploring the world of Marcus Aurelius. But I can tell you this much. His ideas are surprisingly relevant to the challenge we face in the modern world.
Ooh, a cliffhanger. All right, deep divers, we're going to take a quick pause here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon to explore just how applicable this ancient wisdom is to your life today. Welcome back, deep divers. Before the break, we were talking about how Marcus Aurelius's ideas are still relevant today. It's kind of wild to think that this guy was dealing with gladiator battles and chariot races.
Right.
And yet his thoughts on life, leadership, and resilience still resonate with us centuries later.
That's the power of timeless wisdom, you know? The details of our lives might change.
Yeah.
But the core human struggles, stress, anxiety, searching for meaning, those are universal experiences. And Marcus Aurelius had a lot to say about how to navigate those challenges.
I mean, the guy was running an empire, the Roman Empire at its peak. That's going to be like peak pressure.
Oh, yeah.
How did he handle it all?
Well, he was a master of Stoicism. And those principles really shine through in his writings. That idea of focusing on what you can control, finding harmony amidst chaos, is like a blueprint for thriving in a world that's constantly trying to knock you off balance.
And let's be honest, our world today feels like it's on overdrive. We've got information overload, 24/7 news cycles, the pressure cooker of social media.
Right.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed and anxious, like you're always behind.
Right. Sometimes it feels like the world is designed to hijack your attention and trigger your emotions.
Yeah.
But that's where Marcus Aurelius comes in. Remember his emphasis on self-mastery, controlling your thoughts and reactions? That's incredibly valuable in our modern world.
So instead of being swept away by all that noise, we can learn to be more like surfers.
Oh, I like that.
You know, riding the waves with skill and grace.
I love that analogy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about developing inner strength resilience, the ability to choose your response to whatever's happening around you. And that's a skill anyone can develop.
So, you know, before the break, we were talking about turning obstacles into opportunities. That still feels a bit counterintuitive to me. How do you actually put that into practice?
It's all about shifting your perspective. Remember that Marcus Aurelius, quote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes a way."
Right.
Challenges are inevitable, but they don't have to defeat us. They can actually show us a new path forward.
So instead of seeing a setback as a failure, it could be a chance to learn to grow, to head in a different direction.
Exactly. Embrace the unexpected and look for the hidden opportunity within the challenge. That's a valuable skill in today's world, where change is the only constant.
Okay, I'm starting to see why Marcus Aurelius is having this resurgence. He's like an ancient life coach with some seriously timeless advice. But his advice isn't just for emperors or philosophers, right?
Absolutely not. His insights apply to everyone. Whether you're a student, a CEO, a stay-at-home parent, it doesn't matter. His ideas can help you face life's ups and downs with more clarity, purpose, and resilience.
It's like he's saying, life will throw you curveballs, but here are the tools to hit them out of the park.
Exactly. And here's another tool from his philosophical toolbox, the concept of universal brotherhood. We talked about this earlier, but it's so important, especially today.
Yeah, with all the division in the world, it's easy to forget we're all interconnected. We're constantly bombarded with messages that pit us against each other.
Right. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us we're all part of the same human family. His words encourage us to see past our differences, to have empathy and understanding, and to act with kindness.
That's a message I think we could all use a little more of. So far, we've covered controlling what we can, finding opportunity in obstacles, and remembering our shared humanity. It sounds like a recipe for not just surviving, but actually thriving.
That's at the heart of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. It's not about gritting your teeth and bearing it. It's about finding meaning and purpose, even when things get tough.
So even though life can be challenging, even with setbacks, we still have the power to choose how we respond, to find meaning, to connect to something bigger than ourselves.
Beautifully put. And it's a message that's just as powerful today as it was 2,000 years ago.
This brings us to the big question. Why should we care about the thoughts of an ancient Roman emperor? What does this all mean for us here in the 21st century?
That's a great question. Why should we care what an emperor from ancient Rome thought? Well, because his wisdom is timeless, his insights are profound, and honestly, his message has the potential to transform your life.
I think we're ready for that final thought-provoking question, right? The one that will stay with our listeners long after this deep dive is over.
Absolutely. Imagine Marcus Aurelius is alive today, walking among us in our modern world. What advice would he give you, knowing what he knew about life, about leadership, about facing tough times? What pearls of wisdom would he share?
Okay, I'm all ears. What would philosopher Emperor Marcus Aurelius tell us 21st century folks?
Well, I believe he would start by emphasizing self-awareness, understanding your own thoughts and emotions. He'd remind you that you always have the power to choose how you respond, even when everything feels chaotic.
So it's about being the captain of your own mental ship, not letting external circumstances toss you around like a dinghy in a storm.
Exactly. He might even suggest a daily practice of reflection. Take some time to examine your thoughts, your actions, and ask yourself, are these aligned with my values? Remember, true strength isn't about physical power or possessions. It's about mastering yourself.
That's a powerful message, especially in a world where success is so often measured by external things. It's like he's saying the real battleground is within yourself.
And he'd also encourage you to find your purpose. Discover what gives meaning to your work and your relationships. How can you contribute to something larger than yourself? Remember his idea of universal brotherhood? I think he'd urge us to see that we're all interconnected and to treat each other with compassion and kindness.
So it's not just about self-improvement, it's about using that self-awareness and inner strength to make a positive impact on the world.
That's the beauty of Marcus Aurelius' philosophy. It's both personal and outward focused. Cultivate inner peace so that you can use that peace to make the world a little better.
I love that. Be the change, but with a stoic twist. And we can't forget his emphasis on resilience. This guy faced wars, plagues, political turmoil, and he never lost his composure.
He's a true role model for facing pressure with grace and grit. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm not ruling an empire, but we all have our own battles to fight, right? We have setbacks, moments of doubt, and sometimes we just want to throw in the towel.
Absolutely. So what would Marcus Aurelius say to someone who's struggling?
I think he would remind you that challenges are a part of life, but they don't have to break you. They can actually make you stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate.
So it's about viewing those obstacles as opportunities to grow, to learn, to become a better version of ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah. He might even encourage you to kind of change your perspective. What if you viewed challenges as tests of your character, as chances to put those stoic principles into action? Remember, you always have the power to choose how you respond. You can find meaning even in the toughest situations.
Wow, this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I feel like I've learned so much about Marcus Aurelius, about Stoicism, and even about myself.
It's been a joy exploring these ideas with you.
Yeah.
And if you're intrigued by what you've heard today, I highly recommend checking out Meditations for yourself. It's surprisingly readable for an ancient text, and it's packed with timeless wisdom that could truly change your life.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of Marcus Aurelius. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep living with purpose.